CogView 4. Is this a model we should implement into CogniWerk AI? I'm not this guy from Russia, but today we are talking about something from the East anyway. I'm Benjamin, co-founder from CogniWerk, and how does the brand new CogView compare to SDXL, Flux and the recently tested Lumina 2? So let's put them to the test. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we do a deep dive into China's latest release, CogView 4. I tested against Flux, SDXL and Lumina 2 using a variety of prompts to see how each of these models interpret them differently. And if you're wondering what this model is all about, I reused the tests of an environment in ComfyUI. The link is in the description below from the Lumina test or last time, to better compare all four different models. First of all, why didn't I include SD 1.5? Prompt understanding. Different models process text inputs differently and architecture plays a huge role here. CogView is set to excel at prompt interpretation, something which SD 1.5 lacks kind of, but how does CogView 4 compare to the other models? Let's find out. So I have here a noodle setup, it's ComfyUI, but we focus here on the view over there. So let's find out with a relatively easy prompt. It's a Lego figure styled as Albert Einstein with a signature wild white hair, bushy mustache and a lab coat. There is more to it, stands in the center, expression is neutral, but his quirky hair makes the figure instantly recognizable. Okay, so I have a resolution of 1024 to 1024 pixels, so nothing too wild. I hit enter and let's see how this goes. For explanation, I have here a node called execution time so that I can also track the time, how long each node and especially how long the model itself takes for generation. So I can also compare the models in this regard. So now it ran through, it took a while, and as you can see here at the execution time, the CogView 4 wrapper took a lot of time and way more than the others. So just to say, I am using a CogView wrapper node because for CogView is to this time not natively integrated into ComfyUI, so it is faster if I use it locally in diffusers. Cannot use it because I have like a potato PC and old Mac, but so far so good. Okay, let's look at the images. So we can see that actually every model did a pretty good job. Maybe SDXL, it gave this Lego figurine a nose, which is really uncommon for the figurines. Flux seems to be a little bit out of focus, so is Lumina 2, but Cog 4 exceptionally did a pretty good job. It also gave kind of a nose here, but it looks fantastic, so to say. Now we test a prompt where actually all models had a pretty bad time in the Lumina test, and it is the bear, a teddy bear which is sitting down at the building, and the bear blocks a busy high detailed urban street. So I did not test this before, so let's find out how this goes. Okay, now we are there. So first of all, the performance of the CogView 4 wrapper improved drastically, so we have an performance jump of 88%. So the total time is now just 43 seconds. It's still relatively slow compared to Flux, which was the slowest model in the last time review with 11 seconds, but still, let's look at the images. So here it seems that actually SDXL had the best prompt understanding. The people in the CogView 4 image seem to be small, but it's not really clear how big this teddy bear really is. So let's take a look a little bit better. So it's not really high as a building. It seems to be, yeah, a pretty big teddy bear. Cannot really see that it's that big. As said, SDXL did a pretty good job at the prompt understanding here, but let's take a look for a different one. So here is a prompt which is actually really difficult for every other model. And it's the prompt, a photo of a man forming an OK sign with the left hand at his head and making a peace sign with his right hand, neutral lighting, white background. So it should look something like this. So let's see how this performs. So finally we are there. Everything has rendered. So let's look at the results. So we can see that CogView did a good job in generating an overall picture. The quality seems to be really nice, while Lumina, for example, is really blurry. But, well, Flux tried to do it and CogView tried to do it as well. I think that Flux, Lumina, CogView, they have a decent prompt understanding, but it's not enough to really have this view. Flux really tried to have this OK sign, but it mixed a little bit up the understanding of the position, while CogView completely ignored the OK sign, but did a pretty good job with the peace sign so far. SDXL completely ignored the other hand as well. It did with the right hand the OK sign, which is good, but with the left hand it's just not visible here. But so far interesting results. Maybe a different composition would yield other results, but in this round I would say CogView did a pretty good job because it's the only image which is not completely mixed up. SDXL also is not that bad, while Flux and Lumina 2, well, look at this hand over here. It looks a little bit mangled at its best. So, well, let's find out with a different prompt. This time I'm using a longer prompt, and let's see how CogView does with longer prompts. It's about photography of earrings which are shaped like vibrant shiny bottles of a leaf beetle with a metallic green finish and a tiny black spots. So now it has generated. Let's take a look at the results. The time is still the same. It's 42 seconds for one generation, while Flux 11 seconds, Lumina with 7 seconds, and the SDXL in this case 2.5 seconds. So while we take a look at the image, we can see that also every model did a pretty good job at understanding the basic composition. So we have earrings shaped like shiny bottles of a leaf beetle. We have a metallic green finish, that's for sure, with tiny black spots. So Lumina actually forgot about those tiny black spots. So did Flux, but SDXL and also CogView did a pretty good job at understanding the request. But, well, CogView, it's hard to tell if these are earrings. SDXL, Flux and Lumina 2, these are for sure some earrings. And everything is in front of a brightly background and showcasing the beetle iridescence as well. Also we have the wings are slightly open. I think in this case Lumina did some kind of slightly open wings, but every other model actually forgot about this one. So let's use an even more difficult prompt. So as it is a Chinese model, let's go for a panda. A panda learning to paint in a bamboo forest. A baby panda is attempting to become an artist. It sits in the front of the large canvas, holding a paintbrush in its chubby paw. The panda dips the brush in too much paint, creating splashes of bright colors across the canvas and all over itself. Nearby, other animals like curious rabbits and a shy deer watch the artistic endeavor, admiring the messy, abstract masterpiece. Paint drips from the canvas, but the panda with a big proud grin seems to think it has painted the greatest artwork in the world. So let's see how CogView 4 interprets this image according to the prompt, and if it gets to capture all the details in this longer prompt. So now it ran through again, and let's take a look at the result. So we have the panda. It's not really in the forest, and here the panda is not really drawing on a big canvas, while Flux, Lumina 2 and also CogView have it all. So also to CogView and Flux also paint the other animals in the forest which are looking at the panda, while only Flux really draws the shy deer and the rabbit. Lumina 2 and CogView 4 forget about the reindeer. So in this case, Flux really has the better prompt understanding than CogView 4. All in all, Flux and CogView 4 are comparable in terms of composition and also colors, how they interpret, for example, the panda, while just SDXL and Lumina 2 are completely different in this regard. So all in all, I would say that SDXL produces high resolution results, but sometimes, as we know, it struggles with coherency. Flux remains, in my opinion, the strongest overall model in this test, with its sharp details and also balanced composition. It also has a pretty much best prompt understanding still. And CogView and Lumina 2, I would say both are comparable in terms of prompt understanding. So I would say CogView is still in the second place. So now let's talk about the features. Like Lumina 2, CogView is a relatively new model and has a different architecture than Flux and SDXL and also Lumina 2. It still has no control net and is also not able to fine-tune yet, as it is with SDXL or Flux. But the authors of this model, they said they want to release a control net for this CogView 4 and also release a script for the fine-tuning. Also, it is not really that fast of a model. While Lumina 2 with 7 seconds compared to 11 seconds for Flux, CogView is really slow with 42 seconds in general for one generation. But I have to say, I used a wrapper for CogView 4, so it's not native to ComfyUI yet. What the next week, the ongoing week will bring. So I used this diffusers wrapper, so it could also be possible that it's slow because of this. So it can mean that it will be faster if it's integrated natively and also optimized for production. So where are we standing now with CogView 4? I would say it's too early to tell, but right now I would place it somewhere between Flux and also Lumina 2. It still has a better prompt understanding than SDXL. It has also a really good structure, but is still behind in some features. So the big question now is, should we already implement this in CogniWerk AI? Would you like to test it out? You can try it to test it out right now on Hugging Face. We have a link in the description below. So you can test our other models on CogniWerk and you can tell us what you think. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this test, subscribe and let us know which model you prefer. See you next time. Bye.